What's up, Lions fans? Welcome to Season 1, Episode 23 of the Lions Main Podcast. On this episode, we preview the Lions-Texans matchup, and as always, thank you for your support. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Lions Main Podcast.
This is the Lions Main Podcast.
I salute you, fellas. Awesome intro, George. Good to see you guys again. How you guys doing? How was your week?
Not bad. Just another week. We got a win last week. Excited for this one. This is cool opponent. Just chill.
Yeah. You saw that they're bringing out the candy red uniforms.
They do, yeah. Look like a candy apple on the field. That'll be cool. I mean, it'll look awesome, but their helmet literally looks like a candy apple.
Yeah. I don't know why they're trying to show it against us. Is it because we're the best team in the NFL? They're trying to.
Yeah, I think it's a major compliment that they're wearing that. I mean, it's also Sunday Night Football. Let's fucking go. I wonder what we're going to wear. If we wear the blues against the Reds?
LFG, screaming emoji.
What color combination would you want us to wear, George?
The blues. I think that would be just like, it would clash well.
Blues.
Yeah, the NFL's not fun, though.
Yeah, it's going to be the whites. The whites are good.
Yeah, the whites are good, too.
Oh, someone clip that.
Pause.
But anyways, yeah, no, the whites will be good.
So the Lions are coming into Houston at 7-1. Houston's sitting at 6-3. Houston looked good, but not as good as the Lions. And they've actually suffered from quite a few injuries, especially on offense. I still think it'll be a tough game, but Lions right now are favored at 3.5 points. I think that's a good line. I think, honestly, I'm a little biased. As you guys know, every week I choose the Lions to blow opponents out. I don't think we'll do that this week, but I think we'll cover at least at 3.5. What do you guys think? You guys think it'll be a close game? You guys think we lose? You like Drew? You think we lose?
I don't think we lose this game. Last year they looked super powerful. Their offense looked unstoppable, and their defense was complimenting them well. This year, it doesn't seem the same, but, when you don't take a team seriously, that's when they get you. They got some injuries on offense. Nico Collins, that's a big loss.
Yeah.
So Stephon Diggs has been out, though, right?
Yeah, he's been IR for a few weeks. Nico Collins, he's been out for like 5 weeks. He's not coming back this week.
He's trending towards not playing, is what I've been reading. It'd be a long shot for him to play. So I feel like anytime they message that, 95% of the time, I shouldn't say anytime, like 95% of the time, it's just he's not going to play. I do think, though, while I do think the Lions are going to win every game. I'm a homer, and I do think they played it to the point where I think that actually is probably true, that they should go into any game expecting to win. I do think there's a game that could sneak up because the Texans are really bad at two things. One, that will still work really well in our favor. They're really bad against defending the run. And then they're really good at really bad at pass blocking. Now, we just got Zadarius Smith, but it sounds like he's not going to play this game. So to me, this is an opportunity for the Texans to, play a relatively weak rush. We're going to need a Liam to step up. And I think that's something where when CJ Stroud has time, granted he doesn't have Nico Collins or Stephon Diggs, but when he has time and he can do some play action with Joe Mixon, he can actually, do some damage. So he's been poor this year because he's really literally had probably a bottom 3 offensive line, and no one really talks about it outside of like football shows.
Right. I agree. So speaking on the Texans offense, one of the things, I guess one of the injured players that has come back in recent weeks is Joe Mixon. I've always been a slightly Joe Mixon hater, especially when he's in Cincinnati, but he looks like every bit of a top 10 starting running back when he's full and healthy. At least last week he did for the Texans. So he also adds that dynamic piece for them on the run game.
Yeah, we're the number 1 run defense, so we can take that woman beater and just put his dick in the dirt.
Well, all right. Let's qualify this as someone who hates women abusers. He's a little different than the other ones. It's a separate incident from college. It's a little different. That being said, I agree with the first part or second part. We're going to put his penis in the dirt.
Yeah, bringing back the old high school coach phrases. I like that.
Yeah. No, and so we do have the number 1 run defense. I feel like a few running backs have actually done really well against us. Like Josh Jacobs last week would have broken the streak of not having a 100-yard rusher against us if he hadn't gotten kind of banged up. So he was kind of a field day. but I feel like that's partially field conditions. One, partially we were down a couple linebackers, and two, the Packers line, while not like world beaters, they're pretty average. I feel like, whereas the Texans' O line is truly cheap. So if Joe Mixon's going to have a good game, it's going to be because of Joe Mixon and because C.J. Stroud is effective in the passing game, and so they can mix it up, pass run. So, but I agree. I think at the end of the day we win because he doesn't have as much success. They don't have as much success on the ground as we do, and Goff gets better protection than Stroud. So,
yeah, I saw some reports that Josh Pascal had like a growth and like a non-cancerous growth that was taken out, and that's why he missed the last 2 weeks. Are we on the injury report, George? Is Josh Pascal on there? Are we expecting him to play?
Yes, he full practice today and Wednesday.
Okay, all right, good. Well, that's awesome news. That's awesome news because we know that Josh Pascal, although not the strength of our defense, is a starting defensive end like caliber in the league, and so he's going to be essential at least to stopping the run and also getting pressure on C.J. Stroud. So good news that he's playing. Might not have Za'Darius, but at least we got him.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys. I'm a little concerned with our linebackers. Personally, I know we got Jalen Reeves-Maybin is out, Malcolm is out, Barnes is out.
Whoa.
Boom, boom, boom. I mean, we don't know for sure, but they all didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday. It's not damning and meaning that they're not going to play, but I mean, what's going on there? I mean, Malcolm's injury seemed pretty serious. I didn't think it was, and then it was, and then I mean, obviously Barnes is out, but did you guys know that for Germ? I didn't.
Well,
no, I didn't know that.
I saw it on the injury report today and yesterday and today. Same with Malcolm. I haven't seen any, and maybe I just missed it, any commentary from Dan Campbell on either of those guys. I do think the fact that we have Jack Campbell and Alex Anzalone healthy, like those guys are just studs in the running game. Against the pass, I think they both actually are above what people think they are, and I think usually our coverage issues in the linebacker spot come if we have a third linebacker in. But that being said, I think we've got two pretty stud linebackers, and Nowoski has stepped up a bit and done a good job. Jerem was stepping up, so that is going to suck because our depth is kind of what's missing now. I feel like Barnes was our third linebacker, played probably almost a hybrid role, pass rush linebacker, and then our depth was supposed to be Jerem and Malcolm. Well, now we're down to Nowoski, who's been a really nice surprise, good player. But beyond that, you've got practice squad level guys, unless I'm missing somebody. So if one of those guys goes down, then we might be in trouble. We might just run a lot of 4-2-5 if one of those three goes down.
Yeah, no, besides that, I guess we got like Ben Neiman, who's still on our roster, but
yeah, he's solid, but he's not never.
He's not to the caliber of the rest of those guys. Solid guy though.
Good special teamer, good pinch player, but if he's playing a lot of snaps, it's
question. I don't know if you guys heard anything from the coaches or Dan especially, but when does the what do you guys call him? The general or when does he come back? Or the command? What do you guys call him? The police chief,
the sheriff,
or something like that.
The sheriff. Is his name?
The sheriff.
What is his name?
Kaminsky?
Yeah, the commissioner. Yeah.
He might not come back at all, but if he does, it's at the end of the season, early playoffs.
Okay. Okay.
But the good news, if we're talking D-line, Mekhi Wingo's back, which is good depth because now we have a couple, and Broderick Martin is back. So now, I think kind of the concern along that D-line was if Levi, DJ Reader, and Aleem are playing literally every single snap, then one of them is bound to get hurt eventually too. And we had no depth there. So now Mekhi Wingo has been a nice surprise, and Broderick Martin, who is, giant human being, remains to be seen. Translate that into something else.
Right.
Now, edge is going to be another tough spot this week because Pascal's back, and they're going to probably play Onzarike out at the other edge a lot. But beyond those two, I mean, look, I think James Houston got a little bit too much criticism after the last game. He didn't play great, but I think some of the plays people thought he was giving up. He was just doing what his role was, which was setting an edge or something. And to be honest, he's a bad rush defender.
Right.
But I think we're going to see a lot of James Houston and a lot of some other kind of, one-off random guys on the edge this week. Last week, though, hopefully for that, after Za'Darius gets back.
Will Anderson, speaking of ends that are injured, I don't think he's playing.
Yeah, Will Anderson, that's huge if they don't have Will Anderson.
Yeah, that dude's been a freak of nature since he was born. So if that guy's not stepping on the field, then amazing news for us. Honestly, we can go ahead and just run the ball, do what we do best, and just run the ball down their throat for 90% of that game.
Oh yeah, it would be beautiful. I also really think that without that pressure too, I mean, Goff's already he already makes the right call every time. Texas have a solid secondary, but without any of that pressure, I think honestly, it's going to be an offensive explosion for the Lions if he doesn't play.
What do you guys think? So Jameson Williamson is finally coming back. You think it's an offensive explosion from him? Show out a little bit?
Well, Drew's not here, so I'll say yes. I think that Drew, who hates it. Actually, by the way, Texans are down 2 starting linemen, potentially D-line. But yeah, I think they're going to scheme J-Mo up for something good. I think the team has signaled like Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, the other players have only said, we trust J-Mo, we know what he's about. So like, I feel like if people thought he was truly like a bad teammate or like doing the wrong things, they would be more harsh. I feel like they know that everything he's been busted for has been like a technicality or a knucklehead move or knucklehead McSpazatron move. Remember that from
I'm expecting a big game out of Waymo. I mean, how many times in these last 2 weeks have we seen a player targeted 40 yards downfield? 30 plus yards downfield? Zero. It hasn't even been in the game plan. We hit like one of those big passing plays every game that he was in, like one of them, and I'd be jumping out of my seat with my shirt off. So I want to see that again.
Oh yeah, those and Jahmyr Gibbs big ass runs, or it's a few times, even when they're only 20-yard runs. Demo's like just bowling ball where he bounces like the bowling lanes when they have the things on.
The bumpers.
What do you call those? The bumpers. Yeah, he looks like that. Like those big ass plays are the most exciting. Like yeah, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. I love Amon-Ra. I love the 12-yard first downs that get me pumped. When David Montgomery runs for 7 yards, it gets me pumped. But when J-Mo scores a 70-yard touchdown, I mean, you go fucking ballistic.
Yeah, right. Speaking about our offense, I wanted to get you guys' opinion on something. Do you think Jared Goff, halfway through the season, is a legitimate contender to win the MVP? I mean, we have the winning percentage, right? We're the number 1 team in the NFC right now. Do his stats warrant, at least for him to be in the conversation? I know his stats are a little lacking, especially based on the passing yards that we had the last 2 games. But what are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think so because it shows when you were winning games too. It's not easy to win games. It's easy to put up stats. There's no hate thrown towards Lamar. He's definitely up there. I'm sure there's others. I'm just not thinking of them right now. But
it's all the same players that like are mentioned every year. So like Josh Allen is up there. Lamar is probably the front runner in most people's minds. But then sleeper Derrick Henry is probably like number 2 or number 3 on most people's list right now, because as much as Lamar is carrying that team to a decent record, so has Derrick Henry. But I just know you've always been a big fan of Lamar. So I wonder, do you think Jared Goff could actually overthrow the king?
Yes, because I mean, winning games matters. I'm going back to that again, but I think Jim read us last time something in The Athletic where they ranked Patrick Mahomes this season like super high or some shit.
Oh,
remember that?
Yeah.
And like, I mean, they're ranking him high because he's winning games, and I think winning games does matter in the end. You can't just there's a lot of context to a win and to a bad score and to the stats and all that. So. Yeah, I don't know. I think stats speak for themselves. He looks good stat-wise, and he's winning games. How can you argue?
Right.
Well, I think what's going to hurt him, I agree, but what I think what's going to hurt him is it's almost weird to me because Coach of the Year and MVP so many times are like, oh, who's doing more with less type of thing. You know what I mean? Like Dan Campbell's probably not going to win Coach of the Year. It's probably going to be Kevin O'Connell or Mike Tomlin or someone else, even though they played a worse schedule and have a worse record because, and don't get me wrong, Kevin O'Connell done an awesome job coaching this year. That's not knocking him, but if the Vikings end up 10-7, 11-6, he'll probably win the award over Dan Campbell. Same thing with the MVP. By the way, Lamar's down at halftime 14-7 against the Bengals. But Jared Goff, the last 2 games have probably knocked him down a peg. He was probably trending like right up there with Lamar. I think if he has a couple big games where he throws for 270, 280, and 2 or 3 touchdowns with no picks, and by the way, he's tracking for the season record for completion percentage. He's I think a half percentage above Drew Brees' record season. If he can complete that, the Lions win 13, 14, 15 games, he throws 30-plus touchdowns and over 3,500 yards. I don't see how he's not at least one of the two finalists. But,
No, yeah, I agree with you.
You know, Lamar's going. If Lamar has a great season too, he's going to win. That's the bottom line. If the Ravens keep pace and win 12-plus games, it's his award to lose.
No, yeah, I agree with you. You know, in my mind, I'm obviously the biased Lions fan here. I think Jared Goff should be in that discussion, if not 1, 2. I see him being more efficient and better than every other quarterback right now than Lamar Jackson. So, yeah, that's gonna be an exciting race coming down to the end.
Shout out to Jeff Okuda. Limited practice Wednesday, Thursday. Might play against the Lions if I don't even know where he's on their depth chart, but just.
I would love for him to play. I don't want to do well, but I don't want to do bad. I never disliked the guy. It sucks he didn't work out. Yeah, he just was not good.
He wasn't that good.
Don't you say what you're about to say either.
I've been holding this in, but I just don't. I know you guys think he was horrible, but I don't think he was nearly as bad as what you guys make it out to be. I think he was injured, and that sucked. But I don't think he was.
He locked down some great receivers a couple times. He locked down some absolutely amazing receivers, and then he had some horrible games.
But yeah, right. But then he went to Atlanta and actually got paid. I don't think you get paid as a corner if you're shitty.
He barely was there. I mean, look. He was there for fucking, excuse my language. Why am I saying excuse my language? He was there, what did he get paid? He was born in 1999. Wow, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, he was only on the Falcons for a year, and then he just signed for the Texans this year.
Right. For the listeners, we have this ongoing discussion about when we do have our shit list or who needs to improve. I'm constantly bringing up Terrion Arnold. And so I am being overly critical of some of his performances. The guys have mentioned that, if you take Terrion's penalties out of it, he does look good. He looks sticky on receivers. He's in the right positions, and they attribute a lot of his failures or plays that look bad to just, being a rookie and inexperienced. Yeah. But my argument against that is, bro, he's been playing this fucking position for 10 years of his life. He's and so Drew will always say he looks sticky on the receivers. And I'm like, bro, if you're grabbing the shit out of them, of course you're gonna look sticky on the receivers.
But I think the point is he's staying with them until the point the ball is getting. Most of his interference penalties are at the point where the ball is getting there. They're not way early in the play. So that's why I think the stickiness is encouraging, because I feel like you can fix the hands. You can fix being handsy unless you're Deshaun, but you cannot fix. What you can't fix is just getting burned all the time. You can't fix someone who just doesn't have the instincts to stay with their man and all that. So I feel like you can fix he played at Alabama in the SEC, which I think is a little more hands-on, physical defense. In the NFL, and you can also press a little bit more. You can just get away with a little more in college.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and I think he'll be fine. We just for listeners, we were debating, and we weren't even paying attention to the game at one point. We were texting each other back and forth, arguing that the capabilities of Terrion Arnold. And it was just funny because as soon as I stopped, Terrion Arnold gave up that 2-point conversion. And one of our buddies was like, let's hear it. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to be right. So I'm just going to go ahead and let that die. But
I expected it when that happened. I was like, dude. I started to George immediately. I was like, damn.
I looked at my phone expecting a text from you, and it was somebody else talking about waiting for a text from you. So it was
just know, and everybody who listens to this who knows me, you'll be proud of me because I saw that, smiled, and went, you know what? I don't need to say a fucking thing because at this point I'm arguing that one of our players is bad, and I shouldn't want that. So,
the bright side of that, we were clapping so hard that it didn't really matter. We were texting about other stuff inside the game because we were beating them so bad.
Right, because we were kicking their ass.
Simple.
It's been an upwards trajectory, I feel like, with him.
Scammer gets scammed.
We'll see. Yeah, and I'd say the upper trajectory is legitimately just like not penalizing as much, and that was massive. So if that fixes itself, then I'm all happy for that. I'm cool with that.
There was something pretty big that happened on Tuesday night. Central Michigan played. How'd you think about your Chips, George?
Say what you need to say, buddy.
Well, how did they do?
Couldn't tell you.
George, just so you know, Jim, George told me one time he's like, who watches football on Saturday? It's for losers.
Really?
That's what he said.
Huh.
Not like losers. He said it's for like, it was a demeaning word, and I was like, football on Saturdays. Yeah, I think
what are we getting at? I don't watch college football much. If that's what you're asking.
Why don't you watch the Chips
on Tuesday?
Yeah. What else could you have possibly been doing on Tuesday?
Stop! I was eating chips at Jalapenos. I was eating lots of chips.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Were you on a date?
No, I went with my family.
You guys lost to Bowling Green.
I know. I did hear that. I don't know the score. I don't know anything about it. I didn't watch it.
Can I ask you a serious question? Why the fuck are they playing on Tuesday? What the fuck is that? Tuesday?
They want to get on TV and get money. That's literally it.
Like, I feel like Thursday, but like, I guess that's an NFL game. But
dude, look up the max schedules. They are fucked. They don't even play on Saturdays hardly. Once the season gets a few weeks in.
Right, and it's a shame because they don't even plan the schedules right. A lot of times they'll put rivalry games on a Tuesday. It's like so lame because, and I really don't know why they do that. Like why they just neglect the planning so much to that extent. Like
it's horrible.
Central Western weekend is a lot of fun. It was so much fun when I was young. Oh my god!
Speaking of, Central and Western is on Tuesday, November 19th this year.
Exactly. That's bullshit. They wonder why people don't go to the games. Like, even like the great games a Tuesday, it's not right, and it's a
slap in the face.
Right. I mean, college football's dying with NIL. It's great that the players are getting paid, yada yada, but it's just the whole league's becoming just strange now, and it's like it's almost like club team football.
And conference realignment is ruining college football.
Do you guys? Right. Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think with the realignment, especially with NIL as well, that like Central Michigan is the MAC itself is gonna die almost?
Die, but like
it's gonna be a feeding ground for certain guys to shine and then get paid. Collect a bag, a quick smaller bag for
go crazy. Yep.
I actually think that stinks. But what I think is good is it allows Vanderbilt, Indiana, those types of not like Ohio State, Alabama type teams, but also not MAC teams. They can get a bunch of good dudes randomly one season and be good. But what sucks about all this is you now have teams that used to be annual rivals, hate each other, love playing Oklahoma State, Oregon State, Oregon, Washington. And now we got goddamn Rutgers against UCLA. You've got South Carolina against Missouri. You've got BYU against Cincinnati. Like, this is it's dog shit football. It's not fun to watch. No one cares. And by the way, part of the fun of college football is like the occasional Cinderella, like a Boise State coming through. Part of the fun of college football is having real rivalries with teams that you play all the time that are really close to you. You see the fan bases, and it just stinks that a lot of that's going away. And it just doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, thank God, but I was shocked when I saw that Michigan wasn't playing Penn State. A little disappointed. It's like back in the day when Michigan used to play Notre Dame every year, and then Notre Dame switched up their schedules, and I was like, that honestly was a little frustrating. Like seeing seeing that off the schedule. So
something that would it doesn't seem like it would benefit Central Michigan football, but it could, is something that Blake talks about, one of our friends. Jim, you know all about it. The MOAS, the biggest distribution of wealth in human history. If that happens, Ryan Cohen, the CEO of GameStop, would become, oh my God, rich. And he's
the emperor of the new order.
He's alumni of CMU, so maybe he could be a good funder. Yeah, so you never know. Maybe he donates to the football team, and we become, a powerhouse, and the action starts running better than the SEC and the Big Ten. So it'd be awesome.
That could be, honestly, Central Michigan could do that, but they'd first have to move outside of Mount Pleasant, and then that'd be the first. That'd be the first thing to attract players to come play. But that's cool.
Hey, look, that Red Lobster in Mount Pleasant is fine dining, in my opinion. But
Hey, shout out to the Ultimate Feast. Shout out to Endless Shrimp.
Oof.
once GameStop 10,000 X's, Central's on the map, baby.
Do it.
Ooh, fire up.
You'll have your
Hear
own
that,
game.
everybody? Pump it all into GameStop. Pump it all in.
GameStop and Pornhub.
We don't support that, actually. That's not true. Be
No,
smart
George
with your
is-
money.
George is one of the fraudulent shorters of GameStop. He's out there, help. He's gonna be caught in the short squeeze.
Not I.
All right. Any other stocks you guys want to talk about?
What about? Did you guys take a look at DJT?
No.
Let me see.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess it's up.
No, it actually dropped. I was looking at
What?
it. Yeah,
Interesting.
no, it got shorted.
Why the fuck? Why did it go down? It's wow. Weird.
DJT.
I will say, that's just insane that that's a thing.
That is wild, but that's the modern age, I guess. I don't know. Selling
Hawk Tua.
online. Yeah,
Don't know
Hawk Tua.
anything.
If that
You know
Hawk
what?
Tua girl's famous, then anything literally can go online.
True. I mean, I liked it at
Absolutely.
first, but now it's gotten kind of fucking insane. The fact that she's got an entire ass podcast, has real guests on there, all from one clip.
Yeah, that's
Did you expect
ridiculous.
Dana White to be thanking Aiden Ross on presidential stage? It's kind of crazy. Crazy world we live in. Everything is everywhere.
yeah, streamers and social media influencers.
Look, no
The
comment
influence.
on politics, but the fact that Aiden Ross was at any sort of president's event means we're all doomed as a world. Doesn't matter. I'm not saying
Mhm.
if he showed up for Kamala, if he showed up for Trump, regardless, if Aiden Ross is involved in U.S. politics at all, idiocracy is on its way into reality. So
Who did you say?
let's
Shit for
enjoy some
brains?
football, baby. Huh?
Yeah, football. Football.
Football and Gatorade. That's all I give a shit about.
Right. So speaking of football and Gatorade, player prop bets. Have you guys taken a chance to look and see what you guys want to do for our player props this week? It'll
What's
just
the
be
order?
three of us. So it'll just be three of us. And last time it was just us three. We clobbered. So it's going to be me, Jim, then George.
You almost feel bad for Drew at this rate. Give him a free
what's
win.
going on?
I have some interesting ones.
All right. So
I don't know the order. We got to figure out the order.
I just told you the order. It's
what
me,
was it?
Jim, then you.
Why am I last again? God damn.
Because Drew was supposed to go behind you.
That seems to always happen. I always get the last pick on these Drew.
Well, has
Gongs.
anybody ever taken your pick before? I don't think so.
Maybe.
So quit your bitching. All right. So no, there's a lot of good ones here, and I think you guys see those as well. Pass TDs over under for golf 1.5. All right. I got you.
Let's hear it.
CJ Stroud over 0.5 interceptions. Last time I did this, I chose Sam Darnold, and it hit. CJ Stroud over 0.5 interceptions.
Huh?
That's
I
a
like
good
that
bet.
one.
Oh, I love that bet.
one.
You like that one, huh?
Fun one, sure. Here's one I really like. I really, really, really like. Jahmyr Gibbs over 83.5 combined rushing and receiving yards.
Ooh.
Give it to me.
You might hit that in the first half, Jim.
First quarter. Come on. First drive.
Okay. I like that. Damn, I can't believe that was on there. That's free money. What are you thinking, George?
Jim's bet is a good bet. I was kind of thinking along those lines, so I'm going to, in a sense, tie myself to him. Not completely, but I might sync with him. Jahmyr Gibbs over 17.5 receiving yards.
See, my only thing is...
Is that even parlayable?
Yeah, I don't think that might be... Jim, try putting it in right now.
That's on receiving props over under.
I know, but you can't tie a receiving... You might not be able to tie a receiving prop with a combined prop together. Because they're the same
for the
bet.
parlay?
Potentially, yeah.
Oh,
See,
you can't
but
parlay it. You can parlay it.
You can parlay it, plus the
Oh,
CJ Stroud over 0.5 picks.
Hoping for a screen pass that just goes to the house. Instant hit.
My boss actually asked for the link the last
What the fuck?
time I found out about it. He was like, he was like, I saw you brought a mic down here. You recording something after? I was like, oh yeah, I do a podcast. Well, I didn't want him to listen to it. And he was like,
Evan
but
said
he's
shit.
honestly swears all the time, says whatever the fuck comes to his mind, so he probably wouldn't care. But he certainly doesn't probably want to hear. I'm blinded by the come.
Right.
Mark
Alrighty,
again.
well, I think those picks are good. And so our parlay, TJ Stroud over 0.5 interceptions, Gibbs over 17.5 reception yards, and then Gibbs over 83.5 combined rushing and reception yards. That sounds good to me, and that sounds like a massive hit. So final thing we got to do is we have to predict the score of the game. Lions are favored by 3.5. What's the actual over/under total? Let me see. 48.5. I think the score of this game looks very, very similar to that of Green Bay. I'm going to say Lions 27, Texans 14.
Okay. I don't hate it. I think mine's going to be a completely different type of score, but I do not hate it. Because honestly, I could see this is a game, not to beat around the bush, this is a game I could see going a lot of different ways, to be honest. To me, I think what's really going to come down to is how explosive can our passing game be, and how effective can we be at stopping their passing game. So I liked a little bit more points in this game than you do. I think it's Lions 34, Texans 24.
That's a good prediction. I think
They've got good secondary, they actually have a good secondary, but I don't think it's been the whole defense has been clicking lately.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that we're going to get up a lead quickly, and you're going to see us run the ball on them. Kind of like what we did to Green Bay and just suffocate them to life.
That really seems to be our strategy in a lot of games.
I mean, honestly, if you're down 2 scores and there's 8 minutes left in the fourth, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible because we're going to take off 6 minutes off the clock at least.
Yeah.
How about you, George?
I think the Lions are going to win 38-21.
38-21. Damn, so this is like the first game where I'm actually projecting a lower line score than I think everybody else.
No, you mean like points wise or total?
No, I think like just line scoring points. I think I projected like the highest every week. Yeah.
You brought down. You're adjusting. George is gone. What'd you say, George? How many points?
38-21.
I think we're gonna gut them.
I mean, dude, you're laughing, but like
we could
against the Titans. Remember, I was like 41-10, and you guys are like, bro, we put up 52 on their ass. So
it will be a race of the offenses, and I don't think theirs in the position they're in right now can keep up.
Can keep up. Yeah, can keep up.
We have been laying waste to teams. Even that Packers game was not as close as indicated. We've been, honestly, in the Vikings game, some self-inflicted wounds. I think besides that, we probably would have won the last 5 games by 10 plus points. So I don't hate it.
No, I like those predictions. But I think that wraps up the week, fellas. So thank you, listeners, for listening to this episode of the Lions Main Podcast. Join us next week as we break down, just give a recap over the game with the Lions' big win over the Texans. So we expect it. You expect it. Join us next week. Listen in.